Welcome to Hats On.
Hi, welcome to Hats On. I'm Laia, and this podcast is about the full lives of women. The hats we wear, all of them, even the ones nobody expected. My guest today is someone who, at the age of 20, got on a plane to the heart of the Democratic Republic of Congo because she had always known since she was a small child that she would one day go somewhere in Africa and make something real. And that is exactly what she did. She founded Zukunft für Chumbe, which means future for Chumbe, in a village in the middle of the Congo. And the people there gave her a name, Wale Wano. It means mother of all children. In 12 years, in 13 years actually now, she has built a school, a medical station, an agricultural program, wells that now bring clean water to 15,000 people. And she has 488 children in her school and 108 local people working alongside with her. She lives between Austria and Congo, and she has already brought her 4-year-old daughter with her to Chumbe. I have so many questions. Welcome, Manuela.
Thank you, La. I'm so glad to be here with you.
Okay, let's get started. I've read that since you were a small child, you always knew you would one day go somewhere in Africa and make your dream real. That's such a specific thing for a child to know. Where did that come from?
Honestly, I don't know exactly, but I think so. I grew up in Austria in a small village, actually at a farm. My parents are farmers, my grandparents were farmers. Just a simple family, a simple life with nature, too. But I always had everything I needed as a child, actually, my whole life. I had always food. If I was sick, I could go to the doctor. And I realized as a child that not all children have all of that because, parents are talking about things that are going on in the world or in the newspaper. So as a child, you listen and you hear some stuff and then it sticks in your head. So I think that got stuck in my head that not all children have that. And then especially I heard a lot about the continent Africa, poverty and all that. Of course, it's not everywhere, but still it was very deep in my mind. And I guess then one day, I also remember right now, I remember my parents once talked about adopting a child from somewhere from an African country. And I was so glad. I was so happy because I have three brothers, no sister. So I told him, yes, please, I want a sister. I want a sister. But then I think it was too difficult or so for them. Or yeah, they decided, no, 4 children are enough. So they did not adopt one. I think also with that, I got a relationship to the continent Africa and got more interested in it. And then I knew since I was myself in kindergarten that I want to be a kindergarten teacher, nursery school teacher. And then I said, one day I'll go to somewhere in Africa and build my kindergarten there to help those children who don't have the possibility to go to school or to kindergarten to receive education, get the food they need and everything else. So yes.
Such an inspirational dream as a kid. So, wow. And you make it real. So, when you were 20 years old, you went first time there. And what was like landing in Congo for the first time? I believe it was in the Sankuru province, which is one of the most remote places you can go. So, how did it feel for you? And what was the journey like?
Yeah. So it was January 2013 that I flew the first time into the Congo. And so I was only 20 years old. I never traveled that far alone. And especially into a country like the Congo, which is totally different than a European country, for example. I remember when I landed in Kinshasa, the capital city, it was dark. It was already night. Then I just remember we drove through those streets, where there are lots of poverty you can see already left and right of the car. But it was, of course, a city. It was so different than my imagination. But then I traveled from Kinshasa to the interior, to Loja, actually, which is a town 150 kilometers away from Chumbe, because in Chumbe there was no possibility to land. And I remember I just loved it because it was not a city, it's just nature, people living with nature, all the mud huts, many people laughing here and there, many children, just simple, but all you need. And then I took a car because there are not that many cars like in the region from Loja to Chumbe, which for the 150 kilometers takes you about, yeah, how many? It was like 8 hours or so. When I came to Chumbe, I was just happy. That's all I wanted. Like, you have a dream for your whole life and you imagine it, you have it in your head, but you don't really know if it's getting real one day, but you, of course, work for it. And then all of a sudden, you're there and everything you wanted, your dream, your goal for your life, you're just in that place right now. And it's real. So that was really, really a very good feeling. I was very, very happy the first time.
Well, that happiness to make your dream come true. And why Chumbe? So, what drove you there? You knew Africa, but how did you ended up specifically in Chumbe? As you said, it's really far away from everywhere.
That's true. So it was not planned before that I would go to the Congo or so. But when I was a teenager, I was always interested in, everything that's going on in the world that has to do with catastrophes, hunger, war, and peace, of course, and humanitarian crisis and all of that. I was very interested in that and always did my research about that. And I also went to different presentations, events of NGOs or people who did something. So once I was in a town, a very small town in Austria, in Salzburg. A friend of my mom lives in that town, and there was a priest from Chumbe who was born in Chumbe in the Congo and who was now a priest in that town. So he made a small presentation showing his village where he grew up. And I got to know about this because of the friend of my mom. And then I was there with my parents. There were only like maximum 10 people there. And then I was so excited seeing his photos and what he explained about the village. At the end, I held my hand up and I asked him if I could, when they travel there with him, and if how the education system is over there, and if they have a kindergarten, for example, or if that's in the educational system in the Congo. I didn't know. So he said yes. And I said, yeah, if I could build a kindergarten over there. It sounds, you know, it sounds a little bit naive. Of course, I was young. At that time, I was 17 years old. I had my goal in my head. And then he said, yeah, you can do that. No problem. It sounds so easy. But of course, I still finished my education first. And then with 20, I traveled the first time. And I also traveled the first time with this priest. He was there for 3 weeks in Chumba with me. And then after 3 weeks, he left. And I was there for the first time like 6 months. I was very happy to be there, to arrive there. But it was a very, very hard time for me the first time because I didn't know anyone. And I was the only European also person there. And it was very difficult for me also, different lifestyle, different food, and different illnesses over there too, especially seeing all the poverty, seeing all the suffering that people have to endure every day. And I was not used to that. And I had no one to talk to. So that was the most difficult part for me, that I had no one really to talk to because I didn't know the people. And if I talked to the people from over there, they grew up with that. That was normal for them. It is still normal for them, that even for the children, that just all of a sudden a friend of them dies. It sounds so strange, but it is part of their normal day life. And for me, it was something totally, totally different than I experienced before. So that was hard that I could not talk to people. And also the internet, there was no internet at all. At that time, there was not even a real phone connection. I had a small Nokia phone, not an Android. There was almost no phone connection near. I had a friend of home, an electrician who gave me a satellite phone, a really big one. Then I was always sometimes running around trying to find a signal to call my parents maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks just to tell them I'm okay. But that was very hard. And I got very sick also the first trip. Many trips afterwards as well, but the first time it was the hardest, I think. And with the mental issues, everything you see, it was hard, but I'm glad it all worked out. And I'm also glad that I went through that because I was really alone. Also, that priest left me kind of alone. But now, afterwards, I see that it was necessary so that our organization became independent. I got to know the people and not just family of someone or family of that priest or so, but the people, everyone who were just there. I just went to the market and tried to find out, okay, what food do they have? What else is there to eat? Not just everyday rice, for example, what I got at the beginning. Who are the people who were really in need and who are the people who want to work with us? So yeah, that was the first time. It was good and hard at the same time.
Sounds really hard, Manuela. It's a lot, I would say, really brave from your side that 6 months alone and not able, as you say, to step back into your world that you know it's something completely different. You were alone through sickness as well. So uh, how did you manage as well to recover, to get yourself well, to, as you said, finding ingredients was different, everything that you knew before, it was just a different environment. So it was from a health perspective, how do you manage there?
I remember I was already getting sick after 1 week in the Congo. I had a food poisoning there by then. I know that I could live at a priest's house at that time or a room, but you cannot imagine that house or room like a European house. It's totally different. I was there and I was just feeling so sick. And then someone came in the middle of the night and gave me an injection, and I did not know who that was. There was also no light because there is no electricity. It was just a torchlight. And then I was so a little bit blown away already. And then I was just hoping that needle from that injection was hygienic. But then I just thought, okay, I guess it should be fine. I will survive it. And everything then afterwards was okay. And then I thought I could not come here and just start to cry or say, oh, I'm so sick. I feel bad. Because what I have, that small sickness, is nothing against, like, compared to what the people live here every single day and to what the children, already small children, 3 years or even younger children, have to endure every day and all the sicknesses they often have, which brings them often in real life danger. So I just kept going. I just kept going. Sometimes I called my mom and I cried. But my mom also said, that's what you always wanted. You have to decide. Do you want to continue or do you want to give up? But if you give up, then you come back and you cannot go, you come back home, but you cannot go back anymore. I mean, most likely because you just stopped it. I felt already at the beginning a big sense of responsibility for, first of all, for the people in Chumba, because I in my head I wanted to do something. And then second, for the people who gave me their money, who put their trust in me, that I don't steal their money, but that I use their money to do what I promised to do. And at the beginning, I also used my own money. What I had, I did not have much, but I just used whatever I had. And also, our first sponsors were my family, small family, and then the relatives, the whole family. I mean, relatives, and then friends of the relatives, friends of mine, and of our family. So they all put their trust in me and gave me some money. It was not that much at the beginning, but it was responsibility already. And then I said, I cannot just, you know, stop it because I want to, because I don't feel good, because they all believe in me. They put their trust in me. So I cannot give up already. And then I just continued. But I know I was a lot sick first time, like almost the whole trip, almost all of the 6 months I was sick. But most of the time I just took a calming medicine and ignored it. I just took a medicine. Okay, I ignored. Nah, that's nothing. Stomach ache and all kind of stuff until my body did not want anymore. Until my body screamed, "Okay, you cannot continue like that anymore." And I got malaria, and also I got 4 different worms, amoebic disease. Those are some illnesses or parasites. If you don't treat them, they become more inside your body, and then at the end, they can also get into your organs and make your organs fail. I remember that day that I felt so bad. I drove with the bike because I had no car or anything, just a bike. And I had on the back of the bike two sick children bringing to that, no, you can call it local hospital where there's not much. They were sick. And I felt so sick as well. I almost, okay, I thought I could not reach that place, but I reached it. And at the end, I drove home or where I stayed and just went into the bed. And I woke up at night, and then I knew that's not normal anymore. I tried to call my mom with the satellite phone, and I told her, I don't know if I will survive this night in the middle of the night. That's not what a mom wants to hear, but she tried to stay calm and tried to calm me down. And I made it. And now I can laugh about it. At that time, I did not laugh at all, but now I can, smile because it's already a long time ago. But the beginning is always hard. If you start something, you just have to not give up.
Wow, this is an example of resilience to another level. Manuela, and the drive and the responsibility, as you said, there are elements that show your personality. I just wanted to just ask a little bit on the people of Chumbe gave you a name that we mentioned it earlier, like the Walewana, the mother of children. And I've read that they give their names based on character. What did it feel like to be given that name?
Of course, I'm very, very proud of that name. And again, this name gives us responsibility. And that's what also the people at the beginning told me, that I should be aware that this is not just a name. And it's not just based on my character, because I love to be with the children and be there for them. But it means also responsibility. And for them, they always say that not only the children are your children, you're not only the mother of the children, but you're the mother of everyone, because we're all children somehow. After some years, they gave me also like a second name, Uwungu wa Mende Mende. That's a tree in the region that has like a lot of leaves. So it makes a big shadow for everyone that sits under that tree. So I'm like having my hands over them, protecting them. And that's what they mean. So it's very big responsibility to have both of those names. And I take it very seriously.
Yeah, I bet so. But they're beautiful names and meaning what you've done because in these 13 years, you built the kindergarten, the primary school, secondary school, medical station, an agriculture program, a mother to child program, workshops, water wells, so many things. When you say it out loud, it's incredible. So, what does it feel for you?
Yeah, it's funny because if you say it in one sentence, it's a lot. And most of the time, I don't even realize it. I only realize it when I say that to someone else and they're like, "Oh my God, wow, that's a lot." And after I like, no, that's just normal. I also realize it every time I travel to Chumba, especially when I'm a long time in Austria, Europe, and then I travel back and I come into our compound. And this is really a safe, like you get inside and you feel like you're in paradise a little bit. You're in a safe place. You feel safe. It's safe for everyone. And then I see our projects. I know them, of course, we built them, but still, it's always overwhelming that I created that. Of course, together with the people in the Congo, but I'm proud of it. But I always try not to be like too proud of it because it's all something that I could only do with the help, of course, of so many people who put their trust in me, gave us donations, and with the people from the Congo who because I'm not the one who have to lay the bricks. I'm just the one managing it. There's so many people who have to do that. And then our teachers who run the schools, for example, or doctors, nurses who, who are there all the time. And all of them are so necessary to build all that.
An incredible team that you've been able to build together to raise these projects. Every time I hear, I feel so impressed. And I know you've been, as you mentioned, doing that from Austria to Congo, back and forth. And I'm super interested to hear because you've mentioned that you brought your daughter already there and you have your life in Austria and then you go. So, how has it been to bring your daughter to Chumbe? I believe it's a decision that not many people would be making or be ready to make. So what is it like for her? What did she see? What did she feel when and how did the children receive her? So lots of questions around how is it the experience of bringing your daughter and for her as well.
Mhm. My daughter was born in 2021. That was COVID time. And already when I was pregnant, I traveled with her to the Congo. I know that when I was pregnant, I only told a few people that I was pregnant because I did not want to listen to all the people telling me, oh my God, you're crazy. You're pregnant. You want to travel into one of the most dangerous countries for mothers, for women who are pregnant. I mean, and especially into a region where there's no real hospital. So if there are any issues, you can just die there. And that's reality because there's also only once a week or once every 2 weeks a flight out of that the region. I'm always optimistic. I always believe in the good, and so I knew there's no one that would keep me away from that. So I did not tell most of people. I told my closest people that I'm pregnant, and they knew me. They knew I would also travel pregnant to the Congo. And then I know the whole time when I was in the Congo, I did not even make a lot of photos of myself. If I made a photo, I made it until the stomach started so that no one could see that I was pregnant. Now I feel like I'm a little bit sad because I don't have so many photos of that time. But I did not want the people to judge me, that I would bring my daughter or myself already right now in danger. Because I knew I just had that trust what I was doing. And I came back, I gave birth in Austria. That was important to me that I gave birth in a safe place. And then I traveled with her the first time when she was like, I think 9 or 10 months old. I was waiting that long because I was waiting for her to get the yellow fever vaccine. And you have to wait, I think 9 or 10 months. So once she got the vaccine, then we traveled. That was important for me. And she got some vaccines already earlier than other children because the Congo actually has all those illnesses on a daily basis. And for her, it was, first of all, the people in the Congo, when I was pregnant and also when she was born, they did not judge me at all. They were so happy. They said, oh my God, finally, got a child. And they welcomed her like, their own. And for my daughter, her name is Elodie. It was always just, we go somewhere and there are other people, there are her friends. She got to know other children over there. They were playing all day long with her when she was a baby. And then from then on, every year, children don't see it. Oh, I go to a country, there's poverty, I need to help or whatever. She just goes there. She knows Chumba. It's in the Congo. And it's just another place where she has a lot of friends. And mom is building some stuff there, a school and a hospital, and that's cool. And even right now, she's 4, and we will fly back in about 1 month. And she already goes to school every day and tells her friends, "Oh, I'm flying to the Congo soon, and then I can stay inside the plane for so long. That's so cool." And then I see my friends again, and she's just happy. And I'm always fascinated by that because children don't make a difference between people like adults sometimes do. Adults make a difference. Okay, you're from Europe or you're from Africa. And sometimes, or very often also, as if that person has more worth than another person, even though it's just human beings and all of them have the same worth. But in reality, we all know things are a little bit different than that. And children don't see all that, what adults see. I just give one example. Elodie has a friend, her name is Veron, and Veron is an orphan, but she lives very close to us. Her mother died, but her dad is still there. And Veron was playing with Elodie almost every day. And Veron doesn't have much clothes. I mean, we gave her, and we always leave the clothes when we travel back over there. But Elodie did not see all that. Verona sleeps on normal bamboo bed and has no electricity, has, just cooks on a fireplace, family. And Elodie just saw a girl. And one day she came to me after playing with her, and then she said, "Mom, Veron is a princess, right?" I said, "Yeah, yeah, she's a princess." And an adult would never say that, but a child, of course, says that. And that says so much.
It's a beautiful part of the children, and it's really touching the story and how you taught us see. And when you think down the line and looking at her, what do you think she will understand about you, about your work when she's an adult?
I, I don't know, but I hope that one of the most important lessons I can give her for her life, because it's not about learning math or everything you will learn at school. So it's about your heart, first of all, being there for others, not only seeing yourself, and then being open minded and throughout the whole world. Don't think in stereotypes. Okay, those are poor people, or those are black people. They are like this or like that. Or, I mean, my daughter is mixed too. My husband is American. I hope she will not get all those stereotypes into her head, and just be open for all the people around the world, and see that every person is important. Every person has the same rights, and not only on paper, but should have it in real life too. I also hope that she sees that being there for others is a very big gift. Of course, you give so much, but you also get so much back. You cannot count that in money, or you cannot see that, but you can feel it inside your heart what you get back. And this is the biggest lesson, or biggest gift I think I can give her for her life. And I would hope that many, many children receive a gift like that from their parents or their surroundings. Because it's really, I mean, we all know what's going on in the world in so many different places, war and violence. And it all starts in childhood, I think, how a person develops or becomes as an adult. So it's very important what we as parents show uh, our children and give our children as gifts for their life.
Definitely super powerful lessons she's already having. The privilege in that sense. And I know you don't like to share a lot, but I know in 2021 you received the Verdienstkreuz, the Landestirol, so one of the Austria's most prestigious honors. So what was it like to receive that? And who did you think of when you got it?
I came home from the Congo and then my mom said, "Oh, you got a letter from the government." I was like, "Oh my God, what did I get? a letter? What did I do?" And then I opened it and I got an invitation. You become that price. Like, what? Is that real? I don't know. Why? I mean, who found out that I exist? Nah, I should get that price. But I was happy because it's not about me getting that prize. I always see every award or prize I see it not for me, but for the organization, first of all, because we're an NGO and many people, and that's, I can totally relate, are a little bit scary. Okay, which NGO is really trustworthy, for example. And that's also a reason why I wanted to build an own NGO, because I wanted to know exactly that every cent arrives. So getting an award like that for an NGO, or for me as a founder of an NGO, is important because people see that this is real and they get more trust. And of course, I always think about the people in the Congo. At that time, it was like 2 weeks before I gave birth. I got that award, and I was hoping I don't give birth at that award ceremony because I was really pregnant with a big belly. But it was really cool and a big honor, very, very big honor for me because I just do. I just always do. I don't think about awards or any repayments of anyone. I just have the motivation because I see the people in the Congo, the people in the region of Chumba, what they have to suffer with. And if I know that I can do something, if there's a dying person next to me, and I know that person can survive maybe with medication worth $10 or $20 or euros, I cannot just let that person die. That would not be human to me. I have to do something. So I just do whatever I can, whatever we as an organization can. And that award or other awards we get are always for the people over there. Because even though sometimes I'm sick too and have problems, lots of problems over there, but it's still nothing compared to what the people have to endure. What So many children die over there. So many babies already die. So many women die over there. They have no other possibilities. If I'm sick, I can get medication. I can fly back. I have lots of options. And that's a big privilege. But the people over there, they don't have any option. They just have that or nothing. And it's so important that they get seen in the world.
And you are definitely being a big magnifier glass, if I can say, showing the privileges that we have and the others don't. So thank you for reminding us and keeping the people in mind. And I know the Zukunft for Chumbe means future for Chumbe. So what does that future look like? What are you now really? What are your plans?
So normally the future for Chumba are the children. That's why we have our logo. So that means the children are the heart and the children comes from the children. They give it away also, or they give it from one person to the other. They give it to their parents and then to the rest of the family so they can help others too. And what the future for Chumba looks like, or hope, and for our NGO, I envision that our NGO becomes much more sustainable than it is right now. For me, in two ways. First of all, in the organizational managing way, that the NGO is running 100% by the people from the Congo. And we're already doing that. We have more than 100 workers. You already mentioned that. All of them are from the Congo. It's not about that a European woman comes over there and tells them what to do. It's about that I travel over there and I understand, or try to understand, their way of living, and how how they would do things, how it can work over there, because the life is totally different. It's another country, another climate, other illnesses, issues, all of them. And that we as an organization just strengthen the capacities over there and the capacities from the people over there, and that we respect and appreciate who they are. So that's the first thing. It's running by the people themselves. And the second thing is financially. That's a very, very big goal and a very hard goal. But I still keep it as my goal. And at the beginning, I never thought about that. I also had lots of other images of how an NGO should run, because there are many NGOs in this world, but not all of them are reflecting maybe on themselves so much. And I did not do that at the beginning so much. But right now, in the last years, I started to do that a lot, especially reflecting myself. What is help really? And sometimes help can be good. Sometimes help can make things worse, because you think you're doing good, but actually maybe you're doing it for yourself, but not for the other people. So really have to think how is the right way to help or to work together with the people. And I was not thinking about creating projects over there that provide money in the Congo. I see in those years all the difficulties. It's very hard to always get donations, always get grants to build our projects. And it cannot always depend on donors. It should run by itself. That's why I actually, when we had like 10 years of the organization, then I really started to think about that a lot. That it cannot be like that forever, and it cannot depend on me forever. That would not be sustainable at all. So we have to build more a project where there is at least some starting small income in the Congo, and also starting to create also more businesses, for example, in the Congo, where you get money over there. We're working that the government will one day, hopefully soon, pay the workers from the government money, because normally we're doing their job, what they are supposed to do. They're supposed to build schools, supposed to build a hospital, and supposed to pay their own Congolese people. It's not supposed to be an organization from Austria who has to do all that. Like, politics is difficult everywhere, but in Congo, especially, yeah, but we still don't give up. And that's the goal.
A beautiful goal, and this sustainability and making sure that the project goes beyond you. So very as well selfless from your side. And just coming to the end as well, and we could talk for hours. If you were talking to your 20-year-old self, the one who just boarded on the plane to Congo full of conviction and not quite knowing what she was walking into, what would you tell her?
What would I tell her? I would tell her, don't give up. Everything you do is right. You're supposed to do that. I would not tell her, okay, don't make this or that or this mistake, because I think I learned most of my mistakes. I would just tell her, don't give up and believe in yourself.
Beautiful. And the last question, the one I ask every guest on Hats On. You wear so many hats, founder, the Walawana. You had now a new name as well. The Austrian woman who chose the Congo, the founder, the mother, so many. Which hat do you wear today with the most pride?
The hat is easy, actually, for me to answer. The hat I wear with most pride is the hat as a mom of LOD, because it's so an honor. It's good to be a mom, but all of the moms know it's also very, very challenging to be a mom. And you learn so much and you find out about yourself so much when you're a mom. You find out what are your triggers, what are you supposed to work on yourself. And also, what I had to learn so much is that I need some time for myself too. I always said, no, I don't need time for myself. I just work, 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 work until I could not anymore. And with a child, sometimes you have to slow down. You cannot just work all the time because you have to be there for your child. And also, then sometimes you also need a break from your child too, just time for yourself. And that's what I got to learn, or I'm still learning about it. And this is also important for our projects, for everything I do. So I think being a mom of my own child also makes me a better leader, a better in everything I do, a better self also, because I can also understand more. Before, when I did not have a child, I tried to understand. I thought I understood other moms or the situation of moms in Chumbe or about giving birth. But since I have my own child, I think I understand so much more and I can relate so much more than before. So it's the hat I wear I'm most proud of because it's about everything I do and I am.
A beautiful hat and very powerful that you definitely wear and make us all learn every day. Thank you so much, Manuela, for the work, for the stories, and for letting us come with you, even just in our imaginations, to Tumbe. To everyone listening, if you want to know more about Zukum for Tumbe and what is being built there, I leave the link in the show notes. And if this conversation gave you something, a reminder that a childhood dream is worth following, that the wall is bigger than what's in front of us, that one person with a clear conviction can change things for 15,000 people, then share it. These stories deserve to travel. Hats on until next time.
Guest opinions are their own and do not necessarily represent those of Hats On or its partners. This podcast is not a substitute for professional advice.